Buffalo milk. Buffalo milk is especially important in South Asia, where water buffalo have been part of rural life for centuries. It is richer and creamier than typical cow's milk because it generally contains more fat and total solids. India is the world's leading producer of buffalo milk, and buffalo dairy farming plays a major role in the country's food system. Pakistan is another major producer and consumer. Historically, water buffalo were domesticated thousands of years ago in Asia and gradually spread into other regions, including the Middle East, Europe, and parts of Africa. In India, buffalo milk is widely used for making paneer, koa, ghee, yogurt, sweets, and other traditional foods. Its higher fat content gives dairy products a dense texture, which is particularly useful for foods such as kulfi and milk-based sweets. Buffalo milk is also sold as a drinking milk, although its rich taste and heavier texture make it noticeably different from ordinary cow's milk.
Cow's milk. Cow's milk is the most widely consumed animal milk in the world and the standard milk in many supermarkets. It comes from domesticated cattle, which have been raised for milk for thousands of years. Archaeological evidence shows that people in parts of Europe and the Middle East were consuming dairy products more than 7,000 years ago. Cow's milk became especially important as farming communities expanded because cattle could provide milk regularly while also supplying meat and labor. Today, it is particularly popular across Europe, North America, India, Australia, and New Zealand. It is commonly used as a drinking milk, but its importance goes far beyond the glass. Butter, cream, cheese, yogurt, condensed milk, powdered milk, and many desserts begin with cow's milk. Its relatively mild flavor and balanced composition also make it easy to use in cooking. Different varieties, including whole, low-fat, skim, lactose-free, and fortified milk, have made cow's milk adaptable to modern diets.
Goat milk.
Goat milk comes from domesticated goats and has been consumed by humans for thousands of years. Goats were among the earliest animals domesticated for food, with evidence of goat herding appearing in the Middle East more than 10,000 years ago. Because goats are smaller and can survive on rough vegetation and limited land, they became particularly valuable to communities living in mountainous, dry, and difficult environments. Today, goat milk is especially popular in parts of the Mediterranean, the Middle East, Africa, South Asia, and Latin America. It is also increasingly sold as a specialty dairy product in Europe and North America. Goat milk has a distinctive flavor that can range from mild to slightly tangy, depending on the animal's diet and how the milk is handled. It is used for drinking, yogurt, butter, and cheese. Many famous traditional cheeses, including Chev, are made from goat milk. Its naturally different protein and fat structure also gives it a characteristic creamy texture. Almond milk. Almond milk is a plant-based drink made by blending almonds with water and then filtering the mixture. Although modern almond milk is strongly associated with supermarkets and dairy alternatives, almond-based drinks have a much older history. Medieval cooks in the Middle East and Europe used almond milk in recipes, particularly during religious fasting periods when animal dairy was avoided. Almond milk became useful because it could be stored more easily than fresh animal milk and could be incorporated into soups, sauces, desserts, and other dishes. In the modern era, commercial almond milk became increasingly popular as plant-based diets expanded. It is now widely sold in North America, Europe, Australia, and many other markets. The drink has a mild nutty flavor and is often fortified with calcium and vitamins. It is commonly used in coffee, cereal, smoothies, baking, and cooking. Unlike animal milk, almond milk is naturally lactose-free, which has helped make it one of the best-known alternatives to dairy.
Sheep milk. Sheep milk is less common as a drinking milk, but is extremely important in traditional cheese production. Sheep have been domesticated for thousands of years, and dairy sheep farming became established around the Mediterranean, the Middle East, and parts of Europe. Compared with cow's milk, sheep milk is usually richer in fat and protein, making it particularly effective for producing cheese. Countries such as Greece, Italy, Spain, France, and Turkey have long traditions of using sheep milk in regional dairy products. Feta, pecorino, manchego, and many other traditional cheeses are associated with sheep milk, although some versions today may use mixtures of different milks. Sheep milk is also consumed as yogurt and occasionally as a fresh drinking milk. Historically, sheep were valuable because they could thrive on grazing land that was not ideal for crops. Their milk therefore became an important seasonal food in pastoral communities.
Camel milk. Camel milk has been a major food in desert and semi-desert regions for centuries. Nomadic communities in North Africa, the Arabian Peninsula, and parts of Central Asia depended on camels not only for transportation, but also for milk. Camels can survive in extremely hot and dry environments while producing milk for long periods, making them unusually valuable where cattle and other livestock may struggle. Today, camel milk remains especially popular in countries such as Somalia, Kenya, Sudan, Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, and parts of Central Asia. It is commonly consumed fresh or fermented, and traditional camel milk products have existed for generations. In some Gulf countries, modern dairy farms now produce camel milk on a commercial scale, with bottled and powdered versions available in stores. The milk has a slightly salty, distinctive flavor and can vary considerably depending on the camel's diet and environment.
Mare's milk. Mare's milk comes from female horses and has a long history in Central Asia. Unlike cows and goats, horses were traditionally valued mainly for transportation, meat, and riding, but their milk became an important food among nomadic peoples. One of the best-known traditional products made from mare's milk is kumis, a fermented drink associated with Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Mongolia, and surrounding regions. Historical accounts describe Central Asian communities consuming fermented mare's milk many centuries ago. The milk itself is relatively thin compared with cow's milk and has a naturally sweet flavor. Because mares produce milk in smaller quantities and for a shorter period, it is not a common commercial drinking milk around the world. Its main importance remains cultural and regional. In traditional settings, mares are milked several times a day because their milk production is relatively limited. The milk is then often fermented, producing a mildly alcoholic beverage with a distinctive sour taste.
Oat milk. Oat milk is a modern plant-based drink made by processing oats with water and filtering the resulting mixture. Although oats have been cultivated for thousands of years, oat milk became commercially important much more recently than soy or almond milk. It began gaining serious attention in Europe during the late 20th century and expanded rapidly into cafes and supermarkets during the 2010s and 2020s. Sweden became particularly associated with the modern oat milk industry, and the product later became popular across Europe, North America, Australia, and other markets. Oat milk has a naturally mild, slightly sweet flavor and a smooth texture that works particularly well in coffee.